Welcome back to Nano Education. In this video, I want to focus on Firebase. So this is a totally new video. I have never focused on Firebase on this channel. So this video will be focusing on that. And we will be creating a contact form with 3 fields that will submit to Firebase, and I will show you on how to expand on this form as well. Right? This should be the easiest tutorial that you find on YouTube for Firebase, as I will go over every line of code that you write. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I will respond as fast as I can. So let's go and test it out. Let's just type in Nano Education. Let's just type in testnano@gmail.com. It's not real. And then say this is a test message from YouTube Nano Education. I press submit. I go to my Firebase. And I just search for it. And boom. No. It should be here. I probably missed it. There you go. This is exactly it. And I can get my data. And this updates real time. Like, I'm not going to even refresh my page. You can literally just have this open and getting all your form submission. This is incredible. So this is using Firebase, which is, and then there's a storage. So Firebase has its own type of database, which is called Firestore, Cloud Firestore. This is really incredible. There's a lot of features that you can do with this. You can actually do like authentication. So like user login. You can actually do like storage, hosting, functions, everything. But mainly in this video, we want to talk about database, alright? I will be having like an authentication video coming out soon, but we're going to try on this. This is actually very cool. So let's kind of get started. So let me go and give you guys a quick explanation of how Firebase Firestore works. So we are basically focusing on the Firestore part. So Firestore. Alright. So let's just say that you're conducting a survey. Alright, so survey. Alright, so you're conducting a survey and you're asking for people's name, email, and then 1, 2, 5, something like that. All right. Now this is on paper. All right. So you're giving the survey to people by paper. Now let's just say that this is copy number 1 of your survey. All right. So this is copy number 1. Now let's just say you distribute another survey. Exact same, so I'll just write S for short and E 1 through 5. Let me write a different color quickly. Right. So this is your survey. So name, email 1 through 5. This is survey number 2. So according to Firestore, these are called documents. Right? Each individual result is called a document, right? And then let's just say you want to file these, right? This is just hanging around on your desk. So you might create a folder, paper folder, obviously, for these surveys to be stored in, and you start storing them one by one. All right? Now, this, according to Firebase, is called a collection. Alright, so collection is where this is all stored. Alright, so these are just 2 vocabulary words you'll need to know. So you can have, so here's how it goes. You can have multiple documents inside a collection. So I have 2 here, which I am storing. But then I can also have another folder inside a folder. Can I have another folder inside a folder? And yes, I can. So I can actually create another folder inside of this folder. And have, let's just say I have a group of surveys with the same result. Or let's just say that these surveys were conducted in the US. But then my 2 other surveys, they were conducted in Canada, let's just say. So you might have a collection, or which we call a folder, in which we might store 3 and 4. Alright, and then those are documents also. 3 and 4 are also documents. Alright, so this is basically how Firestore works. This is a very simple explanation, and I hope that you understood it by this way, because this is exactly what it's basically doing. So if you were to basically Firestore and bring it down to the world, into the paper world, right? This is exactly how it will look like. Alright, this is just a better representation of it. I hope you actually understood it now. And if you're still confused, just leave a comment in comment section below, or after the video you might not be that confused. Alright, so see you guys when I start. So we're going to be building a contact form. So this is our project, but we want to plan it out first. I want to know our goal. So what our ultimate goal is. So we want to know our goal and the steps. Right, what fundamental processes we need and everything. So my vision of this project is we have a form which has 3 fields: a name field, an email field, and then a message field. Right? So this will be the name field, this will be the email, and this will be the message. Alright? And then we want a submit button. Alright? So what I want is that when we click this submit button, I want Firebase. So this is Firebase. Alright? So I want Firebase to receive the inputs of each field. Alright? So based on when this button is clicked, we want all these data fields to be sent to Firebase. So we will have all 3 of our fields data stored. Alright, and we wanted to create a +1. So a +1 document. So a new document each time this button right here is clicked. Alright? So what are the fundamental steps for this? So we will number 1. So we will need to start up with creating a Firebase project. So we want to create a Firebase project. Alright? Then number 2, we want to initialize the project. Alright? Number 3 would be to create form. If I can do this correctly. So create the form. Number 4, I want to write the JavaScript file which will send data to Firebase. And then the 5th step, so the final step I want is my data is to display, no, not display, review my data. Review my data that was submitted to Firebase. Alright? Simple. This is a very simple project, and let's go ahead and get started. First things first, you want to visit firebase.google.com, alright? And make sure you're signed in with your Google account. Otherwise, if you do not have a Google account, Google accounts are free. Create one, and you'll be good. Then you want to click on Get Started. Here we're going to choose Add a Project. And then you want to enter your project name. So we're going to call it Contact Form Firebase Tutorial. Alright? 01. Cannot be longer than the 3rd verse. Alright, so we'll just do 201. Alright? Let's continue. And this is your choice. You're going to go and choose Google Analytics. I won't say not right now, because we're not doing an iOS or Android app. It's not required. And then it's going to create our project. This shouldn't take that much time at all. So if it does take a long time, just refresh your page probably. Alright, once you receive the success message, click continue. Now what we want to go ahead and do is come over here and click on web. So let me go and show you. In your dashboard, we want to click on this web icon. Alright, the code, because we're going to use JavaScript. We want to go ahead and give it a name. I'll say contact form-201. Alright? Now we do not need to check ads also set up Firebase hosting, since we're not going to be hosting this on Firebase. We're just going to host it on a local host. Alright? And then it gives us this. Alright? Simple SD like stuff that we have to paste in onto our project. So one thing you must copy from here will be this. So what you want to go ahead and do is make sure you copy this. Alright, the var Firebase config. Do not use mine. Alright, mine will not be available after the end of this tutorial. Alright, you want to copy your own because this is something that is unique amongst people. Everything else I'm going to tell you is not going to be amongst. Alright, so what you want to go and do is visit your code editor, and then you want to create a new directory. I'm just going to call it production, your choice. And then just create an app.js file. And then an index.html. Alright? So inside of index.html, you want to quickly type up our simple boilerplate. We have the head, the title. The title we'll just call it contact form Firebase. So Firebase. Then you have on the body. And for now, let's just put an H1 which says Firebase contact form. And then here, you want to have a script tag. And then a source. Alright? So what we're going to be writing in here are some two sources. Right? Which are going to be https www.gstatic.com/firebase-6.6.0/firebase-app.js. Alright? And then you want to have, so we're going to have a very similar script to this again. We're going to copy it down. And then it's going to be, instead of Firebase-app, it'll be Firebase.Firestore. Alright? Because we're restoring this stuff in Firestore. Alright. Now we just need the Bootstrap CDN. Alright? That's what we're going to be using for our styling. So, in your head, you want to go in and do a link tag in an href. And you want to do https://bootstrap/4.3.1/css/bootstrap.min.css. Alright, these URLs have gone in my mind so much I just remember them. Now we have our title and everything. So inside our body, you want to go ahead and get rid of the title. We won't need that for now. Instead, so we're just going to cover the UI quickly. But before we cover the UI, I want you to come into app.js and just, not that. You want to paste in your var config, alright? Just recopy it if you want. Alright, and then we'll work with it later. So just have it available, like post in Notepad or somewhere, or just post here. So then, let's create a nav element with the class of navbar.navbar-dark, and then another class of bg-primary. Alright, inside of that, you want to have an a tag with the navbar-brand. It doesn't have to point anywhere. I just put a hashtag and then say contact form. So what we can go ahead and do is just open this with live server. So I'll just do localhost 5500. And then your app should so far look like this. Contact form, right? Now, we have gone the navbar over with. Now we just want to do the hard part, which is going to be the container, the margin top 3. So this is a div, basically. A card. So there's a lot of classes to include, and then padding armor. So you can copy these classes. And then inside, we want to have an h4 with the class of text-center. And it's going to contain the content of contact form. Alright? And then you want to create a form group. So this is another grid. Inside of here, we're going to have we're going to have a label for our name. And then we'll write full name. and then you want to input with the type of text. You must have a name, right? That's what the Firebase grabs, and then IDs for your JavaScript. So we're just going to call user full name, and then a class of form-control. Alright, I have the prettier extension installed, so it formats it for me. Now we just want to grab this div, paste it the second time, and instead of full name, we want to have email, and then the type should be email, and then our name should be also email. ID should be user email. Alright? So yep, user email is our ID, form control class can stay. So if we paste it, it should format. And then our last one, which is the last form group, is not going to have an input. So that's going to have a text area. So we want, so it's going to be a message, the type. So we're not going to have an input. Instead, it's going to be a text area. So we want a name of message, an ID of user message, and then you can get rid of this column stuff, since we're not going to use that, but we do want a class of form-control. Alright? Simple enough. And then to top everything off with, we want to have a button with the ID of submit with the class of btn, and then btn-primary, and then the content of submit. Alright? Simple enough. Let's go look at our UI. Boom. We have a pretty nice contact form. So now we want to focus on the app.js, which is going to be the fun part. So before we can focus on app.js, we got to link our app.js. So we're going to do script source app.js. Alright? So in here, so inside of app.js, this is our first config. So this is the configuration. This is what is used to grab onto Firebase. Alright, basically the connection. So connection. Now what we want to go and do is just initialize Firebase. So init Firebase, like we talked about in our planning. So Firebase.initialize app. So if there's a spelling mistake, it will be corrected when we check the console. And now what we want to go and do is just grab onto Firestore. So we'll say var Firestore is equal to Firebase. So we have Firebase, alright? That is the platform in which it has a function of Firestore, or like an area of Firestore. Now you want to go ahead and do is we want to start grabbing. So we will start grabbing our DOM elements, alright? So we want to grab our submit button. So const submit btn is equal to document.querySelector, and then we want to do submit. Alright? And then now we want to grab our field. So let username equal document.getQuerySelector. So query selector. And we want to grab user full name. Once again, let user email equal document.querySelector. And then we're grabbing onto user email. And then let user message equal document.querySelector. And then we're going to grab onto user message. And make sure that whatever you're doing is the right caps. Alright. So, let's go head back to Firebase quickly. Alright. And then you would just want to click on Continue Console. So you want to click on the Database tab. And you want to choose Cloud Firestore. And click on Create Database. And you want to click on Start in Test Mode, which will allow read and write. So this is not what you want to deploy with, right? Quick note, you want to deploy with and start in lock mode, but we're going to start in test mode, right? I'll have a separate video for locked mode, so deploying this app. Alright, and you want to choose a location. So I'm just going to leave it as default, which is pretty correct. And we're going to let it do its thing. Alright, so we are in our database. It should immediately take you to the data tab. Otherwise, go to database. And you go to data. Now, look in my example or analogy, we're going to create a collection or a folder, like I mentioned, and we're going to call it, let's call it contact data. And then click on next. Now, we got to add the first document, all right, inside of contact data. So we have to add our first basically survey or first thing. So basically we can just give it an auto ID, doesn't matter what you put, and just say name, string, and just say test. Alright, this won't matter. We will not need this. And click on save. And then look, so it has created, so watch, I'm going to show you once it works. So it creates this contact data folder, inside which we have this document, which is displayed here, which has a name text, alright? This is like an object literal in JavaScript. So what we want to go ahead and do is somehow grab onto the doc. So we want to go ahead and grab onto this stuff, alright? So we want to be able to grab onto this collection and then be able to add documents. So we're going to do a const db, so that stands for database, that's a shortcut. And we're going to say firestore.collection, and then we want contact data. Alright? Now, like in my planning, I suggested that when we click this button, the submit button, I want everything to take place. So we're going to do a submit.btn.add event listener. We're going to listen for a click and then run a function. Alright? So the function is that we're going to go and start grabbing onto our user. We're going to create new variables for each of our items, but this time grab onto their value. Alright? Yes, we want their value. Just paste it down. This will be user email input. Alright, and then this will be user email. And then this will be user message input. This will be user message.value. So now we want to go in and grab onto the database. So we're going to say access the database. So the database collection. So we're going to say db.doc. Alright. So we're going to, this means doc stands for document and then parentheses. So now you can name your document anything you like, or if you wanted for it to come in with its own ID, leave it blank. And then do a dot and a set. So set takes some parameters, which basically takes like an object literal. And so this is how your code's supposed to look like so far. And now we define what we want to set. Like, what do we want to send to Firebase? So I want to send a name. We're just going to be username input. Alright, comma. We want to send an email, which is going to be user email input. And then now we want to send a message, which is going to be user message input. Alright? So we can actually, now if we just run this, we can successfully send something to basically Firestore. But we want to check if it actually went there. So we're going to do a .then, so it returns basically a promise. And we want to run a function. So function, I think, yeah. So then the function, we're just going to say console.log data saved. Alright, and now we want to just catch an error just in case something happens. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I might have an error. So we'll just say error. We'll pass an error and just do console.log error. If you do not know what a promise is, I will be having a tutorial out on it soon enough. But basically what a promise is, basically when you do something, it returns something, right? So anything you do, it will return something, and then what it also returns is an error functionality, which we will talk about soon. So this should be a full functional app, and let's hope, cross our fingers, that it works. So I'm just gonna reload. let me just check our console to make sure there's no error. Apparently there is. Firebase config is not a function. Great. What did I make a mistake on? Let's see. Firebase config is not a function. Makes sense why. So now, that initialize app is not a function. What in the world? Initialize app. I think as a spelling error. So INITIALIZEAPP. Does still say Firebase initialize app? Is not a function. Oh, this will be Firebase. Now we have no errors. So now let's just go ahead and send a name. So we'll say nanotest. We'll say nanotest@gmail.com. And we'll say nano, good job on this form. We press submit. And we get an error. Alright, basically the error is that we are not passing anything correctly. So we have to, apparently this was an error, so it's user message input. Now hopefully it works. So we just send testnano at gmail.com, and then nano, this is a test. We press submit. Data saved. Yes. We go back. Hopefully. Yep. We have data. So basically, how can I expand this more, let's just say? So to expand it, you can just add another field here. So you can just add it here. And then grab onto it here with the value. And then just insert it here. Simple. Alright, so if you have any questions, please check the comment section below. Leave a comment and I'll answer as soon as possible. And thank you for watching Nano Education.